Good morning, friends. When we are discussing the human rights, we go to the civil liberties movement in USA, and there are two very popular, celebrated case laws regarding the civil rights movement. We will discuss these cases. In brief, I want to tell you. Right, the first case is Plessy versus Ferguson. Homer Plessy versus Ferguson, that is 1896. Way back in 1896, it happened because at that time still that the differences between whites and blacks or Americans in Africa, African Americans was there, and they were fighting for their rights. So during 1890, I believe, the USA has made a law. That law is called as Jim Crow law, or otherwise equal but separate. The concept is equal but separate. That means the whites and blacks were equal, no problem. African Americans and the Americans, both of them are equal. But please remember, but they are running separately. Their institutions are separate. They have to board the separate trains. All these things were there. So mainly, just like our Mahatma Gandhi's freedom struggle, how he started, when he boarded a train to Johannesburg. So since he was a black man, he was knocked out of the compartment. He was made to sit in the railway station, and next day only he could go. And that is the source or the seed for freedom struggle in India. Right? Here what happened is they wanted to make it a case. Here Homer Plessy, this man, you can't believe by seeing him that he is an African American. He is a mixed race, Caucasian race, and of course he looks like an American. Right? So on 7/6/1892, Homer Adolph Plessy, so he has bought a ticket from New Orleans to Covington, and he got into the compartment meant for whites. Right? The ticket collector came and he checked the ticket, and at the time he has purposefully disclosed that he is an African American. Right? So he refused to board out. He refused to get out of the compartment. Therefore, the ticket collector has to call the police, and a case was registered against him. And of course, purposefully they wanted to make a case booked against them. And of course the matter went for trial, and of course in this connection he was convicted also, and later this man appealed to the US Supreme Court against the principles of equal and separate, equal but separate. Now the court has taken the view. So Justice Ferguson, that's why it's called as Plessy versus Ferguson. In that case, the judge satisfied with the Jim Crow law of 1890 and said that yes, it is equal protection clause. Right? So ultimately, the Supreme Court also held that yes, you are being treated equally, but of course separate. So now, what is this equal and separate? I will tell you. So suppose if an African American wants to go buy some car, he has to engage a car meant for black African Americans only. If he wants to board a train, he has to board in the compartment meant for the people only. If he wants to go for admission in school, he has to study in a school where all of them are the so-called African Americans only. Because the system was like that at that time. Both of them, they were treated equal, but they were separately treated. So this principle was there for about 50 years or so, till 1954. Another case law I will tell you, till 1954. In 1954, this case law is called as Brown versus Board of Education. Actually, Brown versus Board of Education of Topeka, 1954. Right? It is a landmark decision of the Supreme Court in which the Supreme Court ruled that US state laws establishing racial segregation. Already tell you, blacks, they have got separate school, whites, they have got separate school. So this segregation in public schools are unconstitutional, even though they are equal in quality. So previously the principle is equal but separate. But now the court, after 50 years, the court held that they are unconstitutional. Now, how this case germinated, let us discuss. During 1957, right, in a public school in Topeka. Topeka is located in Kansas. Kansas means you may be hearing about that Kuchibutla Srinivas, who was shot dead by an American. Of course, another American came to the rescue. He received bullet injuries, and he was actually felicitated by us when we in the meeting in Thana in the year 2017. Right, Kuchibutla Srinivas, that fellow was convicted also. Very recently, it has come in the press. His wife is still there in Kansas City. Right, so this happened there. Right, this man by name Brown, of course, Oliver Brown. Oliver Brown wanted to admit his daughter Linda Brown in during 1951. I'm sorry, 1957. 1950. He wanted to enroll his daughter. So in the school where the Americans are studying, it is a separate school for whites, but it is very nearer to his house. And if she has to go to the African American school, normally she has to go to a long distance. Right, since this school meant for whites is close to the home, right, so he preferred admission of his daughter in the school, but it was rejected. So he, along with 12 others, Brown and 12 others, they filed a class action petition in the US federal court. Federal court means lower court, so just like our district court, so against the Topeka board. So class action petition, you have to know what is class action petition. Just like our public interest litigation. What is public interest litigation? The negative principles of locus standi. Locus standi, there may not be any, normally previously what happens is any person who is affected, he has to file the case, not the others. But here this principle has gone, any public spirited person, right, can file a case to advance the human rights and to be useful to the minorities, disadvantaged classes. The only point is the public interest should be there. Right, so now the public interest is that the African Americans are treated separately. They are not being given admission, at least in schools. So it is nothing but discrimination. So no equal status. So now they filed a cause citizen before the US federal court. Of course, US federal court, they did not agree. They have stated that the previous Plessy versus Ferguson case, 1896, it holds good, but it means the concept of separate but equal but separate, it holds good. Therefore, the case was dismissed. Then the Browns, represented by very famous lawyer Thurgood Marshall. Yes, so they appealed to the Supreme Court, and incidentally the Supreme Court agreed to hear the case. Alright, now Thurgood Marshall, he argued vehemently on behalf of the that is Linda Brown, and actually the Supreme Court, being satisfied by the arguments of Thurgood Marshall, they have overruled the separate but equal provision, and definitely separate but equal, no, they should be equal. That's all. Because in educational institutions, so the judge has written something, let us read it. So William O. Douglas, judge, this is a different issue. So during 1950, this Douglas visited India, and at the time he faced the question, why does America tolerate lynching of Negroes? So in 1954, so he has informed the same to President Eisenhower, and Eisenhower echoed Douglas' views in the American Bar Association also. Ultimately, here now let us come back to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court definitely overruled the principle of Plessy and Ferguson case, because in educational institutions there should be no segregation, there should be no separation. What happens? White people, they think high, and these African Americans, they have to think low of themselves. Should not be there. Then what is the purpose of equality before law? Right? So therefore, during the period of Eisenhower, it happened. Anyway, this is another good case. Please remember, the Supreme Court observed that colored children are required to travel much greater distances than white schools. Already I told you, Linda Brown has to travel a long distance, but this white school is nearer to her house. Attorney General McGraney noted that racial discrimination, yes, still is existing for, of course, existing in US, he has admitted. The Supreme Court concluded saying that in the field of public education, separate but equal concept has no place. Right? Separate educational facilities are inherently unequal. Right? Therefore, of course, our 14th Amendment, of course, equality before law and other things is denied. Right? But here the problem is the Supreme Court did not specify as to how exactly the schools should be integrated. The Supreme Court did not say that even these whites and Africans should be mixed in the schools. They did not say. Of course, it is for the state to look after the matter. Right? And you may know, Thurgood Marshall, he became the Supreme Court Chief Justice of the US. And he worked from 1967 to 1991. Such a great person, ferocious person. He argues very vehemently. If you see the video, you can understand. Anyway, these two are good cases, American cases on the civil liberties, particularly human rights. Thank you.